In fact, there was this survey that was done by Harvard Business Review not too long ago, and it found that 58% of people trust a complete stranger over their manager. Hey there, welcome to Mac TV. My name is Mac, and this is a channel for emerging leaders as well as first-time managers who are looking to develop their skills so that they can build their confidence and lead their teams effectively. Okay, so the other day I was scrolling through my Audible looking for a book to read, and for some strange reason what came up was that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, which is weird because I'm not expecting, so I don't know what it was about the algorithm that was telling it to suggest that book to me, but in any case, it gave me an idea because I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be great if there was a book like that for managers when you're first jumping into your role? I mean, maybe there is, I just haven't seen one, but I thought that I would do a video like that for you today. So I'm gonna give you the lowdown in terms of what to expect when you are, jumping into a first-time managerial role. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing that you should know is that it's probably gonna be the complete opposite of what you're expecting. So not too long ago in my Facebook group, I actually interviewed a now very seasoned leader about what she expected when she first jumped into the role, and this is what she had to say.
If you can remember, can you talk to the group about how you felt when you first found out you would be leading a team?
Well, first of all, excited.
Yeah.
Because it was your hard work is being recognized and stuff like that. But very quickly, once you're in the role, you realize that maybe I wasn't as prepared for it as I thought I was. So just going in with the idea that, I'm just going to have to, tell people what to do and just kind of look over them and just kind of, ensure that we're meeting our targets and whatever. But there's a lot more that goes into that. We don't just meet targets and you don't just tell people what to do. That's just not how it goes. So I went into it, ready.
Yeah.
Realizing that, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I like that, realizing that, uh-oh.
This needs more work.
So Nika, which is her name, is not the only person that I've talked to that has had to make this shift in terms of her expectations. This is very common. In fact, I had it too when I first started. And I talked about this in a previous video, I think it was an older video, where I believe that the reason for this is because of what we see around us, whether that be in movies or television or just in corporate itself. What we see around us is this idea of management, and so we think that we're supposed to fit that mold for some reason, when in fact, management is not what we actually see. It's not what you see on the outside. There's so much more to it. But the good news is that once you really understand what management is about, it becomes so much easier, because it really just truly boils down to helping a group of people, which is your team, achieve consistent outcomes, right? So helping them achieve those consistent outcomes. And once you realize that that's what it's about, literally everything else becomes easier. I swear. The second thing you need to know is that you will make mistakes. And I know I'm talking to some perfectionists on the other end of the camera, so I really want you to listen to me when I say that not everything will go perfectly and not everything will go as planned. It's just honestly to be expected. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of different variables all the time, right? You're dealing with a team, you're dealing with resources, you're dealing with yourself, and there's so many more at any given, time of the day. And trying to get all of that right is really hard, and we should not expect that of ourselves. In fact, we should expect that we are going to make mistakes. But the point is that you learn from those mistakes. Actually, in one of my previous videos, which I'll link right here for you, I was talking about the fact that it's actually easier for you to just embrace this entire thing as a learning journey, because it's to be expected. Like, you are new at this, and so you're gonna make mistakes. I mean, even people in like senior leadership make mistakes, and so even more so if you're just getting started on something. So it's just better to like have that outlook of, you know, I'm gonna mess up sometimes. Not that I'm saying that you want to like go into it making just silly mistakes. I'm just saying that, like, don't beat up on yourself if something doesn't go exactly the way you want it to, or don't consider yourself a failure if you don't say something exactly the right way to like a team member or to a superior. This is going to happen, it's inevitable, and so it's much better to embrace this as the learning journey that it is, and just keep learning from your mistakes and, you know, making changes and adapting as you go along. The third thing you need to know is that people are not going to just trust and respect you because you now have a title. This is something that you're going to have to earn, and it's something that you're going to have to consistently be working at. In fact, there was this survey that was done by Harvard Business Review not too long ago, and it found that 58% of people trust a complete stranger over their manager. 58% of people trust a complete stranger over their boss. That's absolutely insane to me, but it does make sense. Anyways, my point here is that it's going to take some work. You know, you're going to have to build trust with your team. This is not going to happen overnight. And this happens by you consistently making deposits into that trust account that you have with them. And there are different strategies that you can implement to like really fast track that. And I do teach that in my accelerator program, you know, some proven methods that you can use to really like accelerate that curve of trust with your team. But otherwise, you know, you need to know that it is a process that you need to go through, and it will take some time. Like I said, this is not something that will happen overnight just because you now have a title. Now, the fourth thing you need to know, and something that you actually do need to look out for, is the fact that you will try to hold on to your individual contributor work far longer than you should. For many of us, you know, it's not a light switch moment jumping into a management role. It's not like one day you're answering the phone and the next day you're leading the team. It does take time, so there is a transition period. But something that I find that a lot of first-time managers do is they hang on to the stuff that they were doing for far too long. Like, they chill in that transition period for far too long. And it is understandable, because as you're stepping into a management role, that management role will stretch you, which means you will be uncomfortable. And generally speaking, when people are uncomfortable, they tend to slide back into what makes them comfortable. And what probably makes you comfortable right now is the stuff that you're good at, which is your individual contributor stuff. However, hanging on to that stuff for far too long is not good for you, and it's not good for the team. And, you know, I've made the excuse that, well, you know, everybody on the team has way too much work on their plate. I can't possibly delegate to them or, you know, transition my stuff off to them. But that was a lie that I was telling myself, because the truth of the matter is, when I started to really understand how things work, I realized that I just wasn't allocating resources properly. Also, another thing that I was guilty of is not automating enough so that we can free up time to do things that were higher priority. So that's just something I want you to look out for. It's a mistake that I made, and something that you should probably just be on the lookout for. The fifth thing you need to know is that your natural inclination is going to be to tell people what to do when they ask you a question. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. So the other day I was on a call with a client. We were doing her regular coaching session, and she was telling me that she was feeling overwhelmed because she didn't have enough time in the day to get, you know, all the things that she needed to get done. And so naturally we started, you know, talking about a strategy that would help her delegate some of her workload. But as she kept talking, you know, I kept hearing her say, you know, I'm peppered all day with questions. All day long, people are asking me questions. And so I had to ask her, I said, so walk me through what you do when someone asks you a question. Like, when a team member comes up to you and asks you a question, walk me through exactly what you do. And as she was walking me through it, I realized that she was telling them what to do. And so what she was actually doing is creating dependencies And throughout the day, what was happening was like every little thing somebody had a question on, they would come to her and then she would solve it, and then it would take her, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes to get back to what she was doing. So you can see here, you know, the cycle that was happening. So I'm telling you this because, like I said, your natural inclination, especially if you are a problem solver, is going to be to solve it for that team member. But sometimes you actually have to step back and put your coaching hat on and ask them what they would do, or ask them what they think, or ask them what they think the solution is. That way you're actually training them to think on their own and to act on their own without coming to you. Now, I'm not at all saying that, you know, you don't want to have an open door policy where people can come to you if they actually have a problem. I'm just talking about the smaller things throughout the day. You want to train people to deal with these things on their own, because here's the thing. There's going to come a day when you're sick and when you need to take a vacation. And if you're training people to come to you all day long about things, then when you are sick and when you want to take a vacation, it's going to be next to impossible for things to get done efficiently. So you want to start now by bouncing things back, you know, in small doses, right? Like, and recognize the difference between having to coach somebody and when they actually need the guidance. But you do want to start slowly helping people to come to conclusions on their own, so that they, you know, so that they feel empowered, and so that you can take a vacation, you can get sick, and also so that you can get your work done during the day. So there you have it, 5 things to expect on this very exciting journey that you're on. I hope you found it valuable. And if you're looking for a step-by-step process that will really help you accelerate this journey, then I highly suggest that you check out the details of my New Manager Accelerator program, which I will link for you in the description box below. It was a blast to be with you here, as it always is. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the week. Don't forget to keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.